Right here, coming at you guys with a review of the much anticipated Stephen King's It. This is the first. This is actually not counting the miniseries in the '90s. That was just the TV miniseries. But this is the first adaptation of the famed Stephen King novel, and we're about to get into it. I'm Darren Lacey Jr. I'll be your host today, and I'm here with Miller Farrow. Miller, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I thought Pennywise got you there for a second, but no,
I'm not that lucky.
Yeah, but me and Miller, I got to see the film yesterday. Miller got to see the film tonight, and we're about to give our thoughts on it. We're going to pretty much go into our thoughts, some of the stuff we liked about the film, and some of the stuff we maybe that could have been done better. We're just going to go ahead and break it down. Miller, what did you think? Because I'm really looking forward to your thoughts on this film, because Miller has been freaking out about this film. He didn't watch any of the trailers or anything. He's been very much looking forward to this. So, Miller, what did you think of it?
I liked it, but I also think there's it's weird because there are not huge problems with this movie, but there's a lot of smaller problems that add up to big problems. Like they're small, but they have a more lasting impact on the movie than you do.
Can't wait to hear what those are. But, for me, just overall, I thought this movie was very, very good. This movie is, it's really funny for me because this is something that, the idea of this story in the miniseries scared me as a child, and it kind of surprised me about how excited I was going into this one, and I really thought it. Because my thing about horror movies, and hear me say this to the end of my days and to the last credit and however long I'm on YouTube, my thing about horror movies is you have to introduce characters that I care about. If you do not do that, you miss the mark, and this movie does extremely well. I loved all these kids. I loved the scares. Some of the scares, and we'll get into that later. Some of the scares were kind of lazy, but man, I just thought this movie was just...
I didn't think it was that scary.
I didn't think it was that scary either.
I was expecting it to be a lot. I don't know if that's just false expectation, so I don't know if I'd really hold the movie against that, but I expected it to be,
traumatizing.
Terrible.
I expected to walk out of this movie just oh my god! Shaky. But, I fell asleep last night perfectly fine.
I thought you said you fell asleep. I think you were going to say you fell asleep in the movie.
Oh, no. That was impossible. But, yeah, I went to sleep perfectly fine. I mean, it's fun. It's scarier than Annabelle Curation. But, I kind of hold those up to the same level where it's just, in the moment, it's, whoa, okay, holy shit, like that. When he comes out of, when a certain thing happens in the, there's a scare you see in the trailer, with the screen, what happens on the screen.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool, but, and that was in the moment, I was just holy shit, what the hell's going on? But later, thinking about it now, it's just in the moment, it's scary. Later on, it doesn't really stay with you. It's not like people are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I don't give a fuck. It's not like Paranormal Activity or something where I'm still thinking about that as the credits roll. It's not. Yeah,
I can see what you mean because I don't love Paranormal Activity. I think it's not very scary, but there's moments in that film where you really feel the authenticness.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about that shit while I'm in my room, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it wasn't that scary. But what are some of the positives that you kind of took away from it?
I'd say the biggest positive is the acting and the characters.
Yeah,
because the characters are really well developed and you care about them. I think they go a little overboard. I think he's from Stranger Things. I can't remember his name.
Finn Wolfhard, the one that cusses a lot and has the mom jokes?
Yeah, he got on my nerves. I thought...
Really?
Good actor, acting, they just used him too much, and you're just dude, you gotta shut up.
Wow, I did not expect that.
I thought, I liked where they were going with some of the humor, because it made him... Because I didn't realize the way these kids acted when I was a kid, but, I know that other kids have.
Mm-hmm.
and like that was I guess big in the or today as well, but big in like the 80s and yeah, this but yeah, that just became too much, and I thought I'm not remembering most of these kids' names, so this can sound really mean, but the fat one.
Shit. I think it was. Damn it. I think it was like Will or something. I can't remember. Yeah, go ahead.
I remember Bill, and that's about it.
I remember Steven, Mike.
Teddy. Is that it, Teddy?
I don't think so.
Eddie.
No, Eddie was the mitochondriac.
No, yeah, I was just trying to think of all their names. But that Molly Ringwald joke was great because I was thinking that. I was thinking that the movie.
Molly Ringwald.
But yeah, I like that kid. I thought he did a good job. But the part, like the first scene where he comes into contact with it, not giving too much away, he should have acted more scared. I think.
Who?
When he was I don't want to say it.
I'm trying to find when he was in the bookstore.
Yeah.
Really?
I think he was pretty calm.
I guess.
I thought that was kind of weird. You see some of the other kids in there like more.
His name's Ben.
Ben. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I just like sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, just cutting you off.
Yeah, I just thought there was like some parts that didn't really add up with them being kids. It got too excessive, but yeah, overall, I thought the characters were pretty great. They spent a lot of time developing them. They felt very authentic and real, and Bill Skarsgård he's my favorite part of the movie. He actually absolutely kills it as Pennywise. He's incredible.
Yeah. My favorite part of the movie was Eddie. I mean, Eddie is just... He's great. That kid, the way he delivers everything, and just the way he's talking, he's like, "Have you ever heard of a section?" Like, I just love that kid, and his interactions with Pennywise. That first time, I felt so bad for that kid because, like, even the way, like, when they get try not to go on it because we're going to be doing a spoiler review in the weekend when everybody else gets to see it. When Dylan and Will, the other members, until last credit, they get to see it. But yeah, with his first interaction with Pennywise, and like when Pennywise puts his like hand over his face, it's like, God damn it, I feel bad for this kid. But yeah, he was great. Beverly was great. Mike was great. Stanley was great. And Stanley, if you've read the book,
Stan Lee was in this movie?
Huh?
Stan Lee was in this movie?
Really?
Really?
Sorry. That's what you're going for.
I'm so sorry. It was an instinct, and I went for it, and I immediately regretted it.
Good job, dude. Yeah, all the kids. I just loved all these kids, how they introduced them, and just making you care for them, really focusing on their friendship, the levity. This movie's funny. Like, it's really funny, too. I really enjoyed that. Even the Boys in the Hood jokes, or not the Boys in the Hood, whatever that band
New Kids
on the Block jokes, like... And they all really seemed like they were friends, and how Beverly approached Ben the first time, that chemistry, I thought that was great. And Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård, holy shit, he was great. What they do with his eyes, his performance in general, just how he moves and his body twist. They use the shape shifting really well too. Yeah, and it's just like, because he goes from, like, there's a couple of times, like, there's one time where he's just like, I'm not real enough for you. I'm not real enough. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And
yeah, then, my only problem with him as an effect was maybe when I see it, I'll see this movie. I'm going to see this movie again. Mm-hmm. But so maybe the second time it'll be better, but when this isn't a spoiler, when he kills Georgie, I thought when he like the face they gave him, in case you don't exactly know how it goes down, I didn't think that looked very convincing, which was weird because I thought the effects for the most part were really convincing.
Is it awful if I expected that scene to be a lot worse?
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty bad, though, because, like...
It's bad, but, it is a child getting his arm ripped off, but...
Yeah. and like him like just crawling trying to
Get away.
But yeah, it's not Cary Fukunaga.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I thought that was good.
I just expected this movie to be like more,
because the trailers were.
Yeah.
So, but
because in places you're like, okay, this is what I was expecting, but in other places you're like, it's a lot more. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's a lot more subdued.
But yeah, let's get into some of the stuff that maybe we didn't like about the movie. I'll go ahead and start with you because some of the things that you thought could have worked better.
I thought the kids were kind of too invincible.
Yeah,
like the kid literally they carve. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Something happens to Ben. And then he's doing this activity, like, not that farther on that you're less like, that should mess up what just happened to you. Like, why? None of these kids had bathing suits, or just a spur of the moment thing. Yeah, some of the effects, I think, they screamed typical horror movie, and I expected more out of that, especially by how much this movie does well, and just like, I don't know if this is a problem in the movie or just some of it. Like, it seems like the kids are doing, like, I get like not go to the police. Like, okay, yeah, if they're trying to catch a killer, kind of like obviously the police, and that wouldn't work for obvious reasons. But, like, it seems kind of weird that someone they know gets stabbed with a knife, and they're trying to fix it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just go to a cop? Why don't you just go to a hospital at that point? But, I mean, that's sort of my problem. Like, it's just smaller things, like, not all smaller, that add up to just bigger problems, because the movie's really long, but I don't think it feels that. But it just sort of like
just the logic of some of the characters.
Yeah, it just sort of becomes like too much. I mean, the movie may even be a little repetitive in places, but I also am not sure how they would have worked around it with what they were trying to set up.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with you with some of the things I didn't like about the movie. Like, because I thought going in, they were going to tell an adult about what's happening, and the adults were just going to be like, no, there's no way. But they never did that. And usually in these movies, look, and I think it's a cop-out, I think it's sort of like, sometimes you have to believe children. But, like, it was just kind of like, no, they didn't tell anyone about what was going on. And then maybe should have. And I know, yes, they're taking it into their own hands, but yeah, maybe they should have. And also, there was a couple of times, like, when Eddie first meets, and this is in the trailer, when Eddie first meets Pennywise, like, why didn't you grab him? Like, you had him, so just grab him and get over with. So there's a couple of times where I'm just like, why? Like, I get you're trying to scare these kids, but, like, there comes a point where it's just like, it's like when a villain...
Like, why kill Georgie right away, but leave...
Yeah, it's like when it's that old thing, like, where a villain, like, he constantly, like, you should have killed me when you had the chance. It's just like, maybe you should. So, you know, maybe you should just go ahead and get these kids, because some of them, like, how they make it through this entire thing is kind of shocking, and I'm glad they do, because I like all these kids, but, you know, it's just kind of like, wow, they a lot of them made it all the way through, so... Another thing too, like some of the scares I found a bit generic. And some of the things we were talking about, like some of the CGI, like I don't like the whole entire shaking head thing. That's like everyone does that. Everybody does that.
What do you mean shaking head thing?
Like the thing, like when he kills a character in the sewers, like he's running toward them, shaking his head and everything. I'm just like, that's really typical of horror movies these days.
I can see that, but I also think it works with the type of character they set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was just that, and there's also something else, and also the love triangle. The love triangle, I'm not really holding this against the movie that much. Me personally, and I don't know if it was in the book, I do not care for love triangles. I could care fucking less about love triangles. So
I didn't even think it was that much of a love triangle.
I think it was. I mean, it wasn't like
it was, but they didn't really like play it up that. Like, I mean, not that they needed, or it's weird because they wanted you to make you think it was, but they kind of didn't play it up that much.
Yeah, but
it kind of leaves it like where it's supposed to.
But that's the thing; they played it up enough for me kind of annoyed about it.
Mm-hmm. I get that, yeah.
Yeah, so there was that, and also very little mythology. I kind of wish they explored more, because that's one of the things, like I said, I haven't read the book, but what I know from the book, the surface level value, is there's a lot of mythology to him as it is and where he comes from. And I would have liked to see them explore that a little bit more. And I can understand the argument that, I know people will make this argument, and people probably have made this argument, about that's not the point. The point of this story is these kids need to face whatever this thing is.
I think they're going to go into more of that.
I think Enemy Shorty has confirmed that, but I would have liked just to see them talk about more about what this thing is. But yeah, like I said, I can understand.
Because they sort of just assume, like, oh, it's this clown and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, which to a point, that's all you probably need to know. Especially from, like, if they're introducing it as an idea of, like, we know as much as the kids know. And I think that's kind of cool, but I just would have liked, and I know that's kind of a coming in from, with knowledge already required, but I kind of just would have liked to see them maybe go into that in this film. But like you just said, they might explore that later on. Sorry, just had to get some of my drink. But yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No, I mean, I liked it. Didn't love it like I wanted to. Just a lot of small problems just sort of become like occurring and bigger over time, but it's worth seeing, and it's unique for a horror film.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, Andy Muschietti does a good job to see him tackle a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, because there's a certain scene where I'm just like, this really feels like a Nightmare on Elm Street. And he gave me Raw flashbacks too.
Raw flashbacks? How?
The hair.
Oh yeah.
But what was that?
What did you think about all the individual scares? I know we're wrapping it up, but did you think that was kind of cool about him taunting them all with each? Because I could understand. I
think it maybe, I don't know, because you need it obviously to build it up. Mm-hmm. But I think it may have been. I think it could have been quicker.
I think they might have done
like spliced it together.
Yes,
maybe.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get why they didn't do that.
Yeah, because it was kind of weird with, like, Mike. Because it was weird how they brought Mike in. Because, like, Mike, very early on, he has his vision, but then he doesn't show up till later on. It kind of went.
When was Mike?
Mike, like, he was introduced. You said what?
When was Mike's vision?
Mike's vision is when he saw all those hands coming out the door.
Oh right, yeah.
And then he just disappears. So would I like them all just like back to back to back?
That's true. Yeah, that would have made more sense. Because like he's already going to be part of it. The only reason the way he becomes part of the story is like obviously.
Yeah.
Like he becomes a part of it for different reasons. I think people overplayed how much. Because I saw people complaining about the amount of jump scares. Like, I don't...
What, in this movie?
Yeah.
It's not much.
Yeah, there's really not much. Yeah. I was expecting a lot more. I was like, it was nice.
Yeah.
Annabelle?
No, not after Annabelle, after Mama.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really care for Mama. I really didn't.
I liked it in places, but I think this is...
Yeah, I think it definitely, especially after like with Andy Muschietti.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I didn't really care for. I mean, when he was kind of came on as his movie, I wasn't just like, it's gonna suck. I was just like, okay. But now I'm.
Yeah, I mean, would I still? Am I? Is it unfortunate that we didn't get Kerry Fukunaga's version? Yes, I got to be honest. I think it is. But
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I get why. I mean, I don't want to like discredit Andy Muschietti, and I get why they didn't want to go for that. But just like, I think it just would have been. I think it would have helped fix the problems already with this movie. But, yeah, like no. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm not holding that to this movie because I'm just judging this movie on its own. I think it's a good movie that's just plagued with some issues that they're like, oh, that's not that much big of a problem, but it just as it starts to pile up. But I do think this movie turned out a lot better. This movie did turn out a lot better than I expected it to a couple years ago.
Yeah, especially the fact that like I can look and say it's not just a horror movie. I feel like this is a good movie, and yeah, I mean, look, Kerry Fukunaga from everything, and for everybody, I recommend everybody. I forgot what website did it.
I think it's Birth Movies Death.
Yeah, read that write up they did because you can and Kerry Fukunaga's script may still be out there. I haven't searched for it myself, but I would definitely read that up because there is still a lot of him in there, and that's why I'm not torn up about not seeing his version because there's still a lot of him in there from what I've read. So,
okay, that's good.
Yeah, like the way, and I think they actually turned it around, like the way I can't say that. Yeah, I can't say that.
Just tell me after.
Yeah, I'll tell you after. But as the train goes down, I think Andy Muschietti actually did it better. But
oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you know, it's good. I'm definitely want to see it again. I want to see it with an audience. It's just this is a movie here because it's big. It's it's a communal. Everybody can scream together.
Was your audience that responsive?
Yeah. Like it wasn't like Annabelle's responsive, but because I think people were actually scared. Like I don't think it was just like oh man, did you see that? I think people were just like holy shit, what the fuck,
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think people were actually a little more because people got the hell out of that theater. They were just like, oh, okay, we're done. I say it after so. Yeah,
if you stay after the credits, you get to hear Pennywise's laugh again, and that's never a bad thing.
Yeah. So, but overall, you liked it overall. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to go back for it because I just want to see it with people and scream and have fun, And, yeah, so anything else, Miller?
No, that's it.
All right, so yeah, guys, that was our mild spoiler review on Andy Muschietti's It. What do you guys think of the film? If you have, are you excited for the film? Please let us know in the comment sections below. And also come back for this weekend. We're going to do a full, non-stop spoiler review on this movie. We're going to have a lot more things to say about it, and Dylan and Will are probably going to have a lot more things to say on it this coming weekend. So please subscribe and come back and check that out. And yeah, so check out me and Miller on Twitter. It's our names, pretty easy. And yeah, so with all that being said, this is To the Less Credit signing off. And also check out our Twitter, To the Credit, Facebook, To the Less Credit, website,
Georgie
and Georgie. #Georgie.
Yes. #poor Georgie.
Yeah, poor kid.